Hello, everyone. We're going to give it a couple more moments for more people to join us. All right, good morning, everyone. From the East Coast of the United States, my name is Mark Linehan. I'm a webinar facilitator with Emeritus. We're so glad that you've joined us today for our informational webinar from Imperial College Business School's upcoming course, their Imperial Executive Program in Digital Marketing and Analytics. We're so glad that you've joined us here today. What we'd like you to do is, if you are unfamiliar with Zoom, if you want to look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, on the bottom right-hand side, you're going to find a little chat box. It almost looks like a text bubble when you're waiting for a text message. And we want to hear from you today about where you're coming in from. A message from me should be popping up right now. So if you open up the chat box and make sure that it's toggled to all panelists and attendees. So not just all panelists, but make sure it's toggled to all panelists and attendees. And let us know where you're dialing in from. Good morning, Liz from Hong Kong. Laura from Italy. Coming from Thailand, good morning. Make sure this toggled to all panelists and attendees when you begin. Good morning, Ala from London. Smiley from Hong Kong, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Good evening from Munich, Germany. Guten Abend. All right, more and more people are joining us. That is wonderful. All right, so as more and more people join us and find that chat box and begin logging in, I want to quickly begin on what we're going to be talking about today. So we want to thank you again so much for joining us on this informational webinar. So our plan for today is to take you through this program. My apologies. I'm going to slip into American every once in a while. We're going to take you through this program and tell you all about what this course program is going to be like. We're going to be talking about the advantage of Imperial College. We're going to be introducing our faculty, going over the learning outcomes. And on this webinar, you're also going to get an in-depth look into the program highlights, the syllabus, the learning experience, the case studies, and the assignments. We will also briefly be going over a program fee and payment schedule, and we'll be going over that case study that our distinguished faculty will be taking through us. And also, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the other end of this webinar. So quickly before, I went back. Before we move on, I want to show you on the bottom left-hand side of the Zoom screen, you'll see that little white box that has a Q in it. That is our Q&A box. Any questions you have during this webinar, as soon as you have a question, please put that right into the Q&A box so that at the end, our faculty can answer those questions for you no matter what the topic is. So as soon as you have a question, pop that right into the Q&A box. The chat box is a nice place to say hello and to check in. But if you have any questions about the course, about the program itself, please make sure that that is in the Q&A box so we can address them at the end. So speaking of which, our wonderful program faculty who are going to be on this webinar today, we are honored to have Dr. Gokanyal Drim with us today. He is the Associate Professor of Marketing for Imperial College Business School. And we also have Russell Miller, who is the Director of Learning Solutions and Innovation with Imperial College Business School Executive Education. And I'm actually going to be handing it over to Russell to take us through this next part of this webinar. So Russell, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. So if you could click to the next slide.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you. So as Mark said, I'm Russell Miller. I'm Director of Learning Solutions and Innovation at Imperial College Executive Education here in London. So welcome to everybody who's joined us. Good morning, good afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Just wanted to share a few things around what we feel makes Imperial different. Clearly, as you're doing your research and planning to join programs, you kind of want to understand a little bit about the institution that you'll be working with, over the period of the course. So I'm not going to read through all of the points here on the slide, but I just wanted to raise a couple of things that I think are really important for you guys as you're planning to join the program. So firstly, Imperial has a really distinctive culture of working across disciplines. What that means is that we can bring together the finest thinkers, not just from business, but from science, technology, engineering, and medicine too. What that means is it creates a really academically rigorous, yet practical and application-focused learning experience for you with a unique flavor. So additionally, I think one of the most important things that, on a day-to-day basis, when you're kind of working with us through the program, you want to know that the technology that is driving this, that's supporting your learning, is world-class. So we have that. What sets us apart is our world-leading, award-winning EdTech capabilities. The platform that underpins the program that you'll be joining is the same platform that we use for our online MBA programs, for our kind of really highly ranked MSc programs in marketing, for example. And what it does is it creates a really rich learning experience for you. So you'll see here some of the different modalities that the program includes in terms of the way in which you'll interact with not only kind of the faculty, but also each other on the program too. So all of this really brings a uniquely powerful learning experience for you as you go through the program with us. But clearly, it's not just about the technology and the platform, and it's not just about Imperial and our position as one of the world's leading universities. It's also about our great faculty, and we have a member of the team here today. So Gökhan Yildirim, who's an associate professor of marketing with the business school here, and a key part of the program that we hope that you'll join. With that, I'll hand it over to you, Gökhan.
Okay, thank you, Russell. I'm delighted to be part of this webinar really today. And it's great to have this opportunity actually to talk about the program content and what you can get from this fantastic journey as a participant. So, well, this program focuses on understanding the digital customer journey, right? So, Mark, if you could click and move to the next slide. Yeah. So, in this journey, actually, we offer some state-of-the-art analytical tools and frameworks that can be used to have a better customer brand relationship and boost financial performance. Our approach is in this course is a data-driven approach. So you will look at really exciting case studies, and sometimes you will get your hands dirty by looking at the real-world data sets and working with real-world marketing, digital marketing problems. Okay, and the program is going to be about engaging your customers effectively through digital marketing, developing effective marketing campaigns to lift customers' attitudes and behavior, and allocating your marketing resources across channels in the most efficient way, and turning your customer engagement into sales and so on. And the final goal that this program really tries to achieve is that you will be able to create strong customer brand relationships, right? So let's move on to the next slide. So I just want to talk a little bit about the content of the program. So we will start with module 1, getting attention online. So in that module, we will learn the tools and frameworks, theories about how to get really customers' attention online in this digital world, right? And then module 2 is going to be the analytics component of the program. So we will focus on how customer attitudinal data analysis can help us to win customers' minds, hearts, and sales. So our approach is going to be analytics approach. So in module 3, we will move on to the customer online engagement and learn the skills as to how customer online engagement can be achieved by understanding our customers better and by serving them better in the digital journey. So then module 4 is going to be about the analytics component of the program. So we will look at some algorithms, machine learning algorithms, and try to understand customers better and serve them better. So the module 5 will focus on how to turn engagement into sales, and then that we will followed by a marketing analytics approach again. So we will learn how to allocate our resources across different channels, right? So let's move on, and then I will talk about what you would expect from this course, from this program more specifically. So as I said before, we will look at really exciting case studies. For instance, we will see how Netflix is making its online recommendations to their customers, users. And then we will analyze Google AdWords search engine marketing campaigns. And then we will also examine customer attitudinal metrics with the R tutorials. So R is one of the widely used software in the data analytics field. So we will make sure that all the techniques and tools here are combined with practical real-world case studies, okay? And then more examples of the case studies include user versus item-based recommendations, when to use those recommendations and when not to use. We will also talk about superfans and social media marketing, how to tackle the issues related to superfans and also social media marketing campaigns, how to really deal with those campaigns. When it comes to analyzing display advertising effectiveness, we will look at the SEAT case, automotive case, and we will study the programmatic advertising decision making. And that's a project that I ran with the car company SEAT. So as you see, there are a lot of practical real-world case studies, and you will learn these in a very dynamic and interactive way, okay? So Mark, can we move on? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is that I will share with you one of the consulting projects that I run, and together with my colleagues from Boston University and Northeastern University. And the company in this project is L'Occitane. And L'Occitane approached us because they were wondering how to increase their multi-channel marketing effectiveness, okay? So yeah, can we move on, Mark, please? Yeah. So yeah, I just want to introduce the company briefly to you. The company had 1.32 billion euros of revenues and 168 million euros of profits in 2017. And they have over 8,000 employees in 90 countries around the world. And they have more than 3,000 stores. And they were operating in offline and online channels. And they adopt multi-channel marketing to serve their customers, right? And then their problem was how to reach out to those customers with the right marketing tools, right? How to analyze this multi-channel marketing campaigns. So Mark, can you please, yeah, so which customers to target with which marketing actions was their problem. So obviously this was a multinational problem because we learned that they were operating in offline and online channels across countries, and they wanted to serve different customer segments. And in the past, they were typically sending expensive marketing campaigns to high-value customers. And this kind of strategy was leading to high marketing expenses on their side. And they just wanted to have a scientific approach, fact-based approach, to manage their multi-channel marketing campaigns. So I will walk you through now some of the steps that I conducted in this project, and you can expect that you will gain most of these tools and skills during this module, during this program, and then you can use them to your own to analyze the situation in your own organization or for the problem that you are currently having. Okay. So, okay, basically what we did in that project was to analyze the effectiveness of multi-channel marketing actions across customer segments and countries, and try to boost the financial performance for L'Occitane. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so basically our modeling approach in that project consisted of 3 stages: descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Those were the 3 types of analytics we actually performed in this project. And in the descriptive analytics, we quantify the customer values. So for each individual customer, we determined how much value that customer has based on some metrics: recency, frequency, monetary, and clumpiness metrics. And then after we valued the customers, we quantified the value of the customers in the data set, we created customer segments. So we basically performed cluster analysis, right? K means cluster analysis. And then after the descriptive analytics, we implemented predictive analytics. And in the predictive analytics stage, what we did was to analyze, was to evaluate how responsive the demand, online and offline demand, was to the marketing actions, specifically direct mail and email campaigns. Okay. And then we also looked at the predictive ability of the models that we suggested in that project to see how accurately we can predict the future demand for L'Occitane by using some sort of econometric approaches. Okay. And then in the prescriptive analytics, our approach was, hey, these are the model-based findings. Now let's see how we can reallocate the marketing budget to boost the financial performance. Okay, so many of these tools actually you will learn once you finish this program. Okay, so that's why I think this is a nice example, and it reflects well what you could expect from this program to get at the end. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we had the data set from L'Occitane, and the data set had 84,000 customers approximately. And we had 6 countries in the data set, and we had purchase history, offline and online sales and discounts. We also got the information about the marketing actions, direct mail and email in that data set. Let's move on, Mark. Okay, so again, we evaluated the customer values, and then we found the customer segments in the data set. So it turned out that L'Occitane had 6 different customer segments: prospects, which never bought from the company, although they were sent those campaigns; dormants, who bought from the company, but a little bit at a few occasions; and then non-recent low-value customers who bought from the company, but long time ago, and their transactions were really low in terms of quantity; and then recent low-value customers who bought recently from the company, but their purchases were not that high, And then medium value customers, those customers purchase from the company regularly, but not at large quantities. And high value customers bought from the company at large quantities and recently. So these were the 6 segments that we've basically retrieved from the data by using k-means clustering algorithm. You will learn that algorithm during the program, for example. Let's move on. And then we found that, as an example, high value customers constitute 1% to 4% of the whole customer population across all these countries. And for example, in the US, prospects actually form the highest amount. So 38% of the customers in the US belong to that group. They were prospects. And for the UK, 40% of the customers were dormant. So a lot of room to improve, actually. And obviously, when we presented these results to the company, L'Occitane, they were wondering how to tap into high-value customers with better marketing tools, right? With better multi-channel marketing campaigns. And also, they wondered how they can really use the right marketing strategies to tap into prospects and dormants, because there is a lot of potential for those segments. Let's move on, Mark. Okay, so our econometric approach here, so don't worry about the equations, but just for you to know how we analyze the responsiveness of sales to different marketing actions. So yeah, here our focus was on the email and direct mail campaigns, and we traced their impact on offline and online sales. Mark, yeah. Can we move, Mark? Yeah, okay. So as opposed to what the company was doing, in our analysis, we found that, hey, direct mail is more effective for prospects. So the company was sending direct mails to high-value customers, and our model findings suggested that, hey, to boost your offline sales, you should tailor your direct mail campaigns to prospects. And let's move to the other finding. Okay, here we found that email was really effective in driving the offline demand from prospects, dormants, non-recent low value, and high value customers, whereas email was only effective for high value customers in the online channel. So let's move on. Yeah, and again, in terms of predictive analytics, our findings suggested that our model was outperforming some of the widely used benchmark models to predict the future demand. So we justified our model specification and our model preference to the company and said, if you use this model, you're going to be better off in terms of forecasting the future demand and handling your multi-channel marketing campaigns. Let's move on. And then based on our model findings, we said something about how the company should allocate its resources across these multiple channels, right? And basically they spend a lot of money on high value customers, although the size of that segment was relatively small, okay? Our resource reallocation findings suggested a different story. Mark, could you please go to the next slide? Yeah, so we reallocated the budget and we said, no, for the direct mail campaigns, the budget allocation should be only done for the prospects. So you should spend all your budget for prospects to increase the direct mail effectiveness, and that is the way that you should allocate your budget. And then for the email campaigns, we said send more emails and more frequently for prospects and dormants and non-recent low value customers and high value customers, but don't send any email campaigns to recent low value and medium value customers. And at the end, based on these suggestions, can you please, Mark, move to the next slide? We were able to show that the company was able to increase revenues by about 16%, right? We shared these results with the company. We said, look, if you follow this approach, this evidence-based, fact-based approach, you're going to be able to increase your revenues by about 16%. At least that is what the data and the models suggested. And we talked to the company. Let's move on. And the CRM manager, Delphine, in the company looked at the results and said, well, indeed, it goes against what we, do in general with our direct mail and email campaigns. So how can we make sure that these model-based findings are going to really hold so in the future, right? So then she said, let's do a field experiment in one of the countries in the data set. So what we did was to run a field experiment in Italy, right? So we said, okay, let's split the customers in Italy into 4 groups. And in total, there were 122,000 customers, potential customers. And we said, we are going to randomly assign customers to 4 experimental groups. And the first group, for example, was the one that we did not send any direct mail or email campaigns, and we call this group control group. And the other group was the one that we only sent direct mail to. And the other group was the group that we only sent email campaigns to. And finally, the last group was the one that we sent both campaigns to, right? And then we analyzed this field experiment data to see how or to what extent our descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics findings would be, be in line. So then eventually we were able to show that, hey, if you follow our approach, that's going to hold in Italy. So the field experiment also suggests that we can increase the revenues by about 9.5% if you follow those approaches. So then that increase due to the direct mail was about 3.2%, and the increase due to the email was about 6.3%. So Delphine was super happy after she saw these field experiment results. And then she said to us, well, the different effectiveness of direct mail and email, depending on the customer type, was surprising to us. Rethinking about this finding, we have a deep and increasing interest in investing in direct mail activities for customer acquisition and inactive customers, right? So then this project was presented at one of the leading conferences, marketing science conference in the US in 2018, and we got the prize for this project, and it was the winner of the marketing science practice prize series in the conference. So we were super happy that we contributed to the company, to L'Occitane, in terms of their multi-channel marketing strategies. And then the company was super happy that, super happy to see that analytical approach, could help them allocate their resources in the most efficient and effective way. So now, so why did I tell you all about this, story? Because the idea here is that I want to show you how relevant is this to the program content, right? So Mark, could you please move? Yeah. So in this program, for example, you will deal with analytical approaches to transform data into insights and actions. this is exactly what I did in that project. And after completing this program, you will have that opportunity, that, chance, basically. And then you will learn after completing the program how to know your customers better and target them better with the right marketing strategies. And this project did that. This project also looked at customer attitudinal data, and then we analyzed the customers' responsiveness to the marketing campaigns in terms of how they react in their hearts and minds. So you will learn that in the program as well. Finally, this project was about how to allocate resources across online and offline channels. And you will see and you will learn all about these in this program as well. So I think this case study clearly reflects what you would expect from this program. And the good thing, analytics is going to be part of the digital marketing journey that customers have. And then you will have the opportunity to look at the digital marketing frameworks and tools and combine them with rigorous analytical applications. So I think that's all from me. I will be very happy to answer your questions at the end during the Q&A.
Gökhan, thank you so much for taking us through all that. And like Gökhan said, everybody, please make sure you put your questions in that Q&A box. We're going to be starting the Q&A in just a couple minutes, and we want to make sure that we get through as many of your questions as possible. So before we get to the Q&A, once you go through this course, we want to talk about what you get out of the course. So upon completion of the program, you're going to be getting this verified digital certificate by Imperial College Business School Executive Education. This is a verified digital certificate that you can put on your LinkedIn. You can use it for your networking. It will let people know that you have completed this course, that you have the skills that you would have gotten through this course. And as you can see, this verified digital certificate is going to be signed by our amazing faculty. And if you are ready to sign up for this course, it starts on March 27th. So that is less than 3 weeks away. And it's a 2-month online course. And we also wanted to emphasize that while the program fees, well, it's $1,600 US, you do have flexible payment options for this course. So whether you want to pay in full at the beginning, pay in 2 installments, or pay in 3 installments, however is most useful for you and whatever fits best with your life, we want to make sure that we are accommodating you so that you can take and learn from this course. And while we continue through our Q&A, hopefully program support will be posting a link in the chat box so you can get more information and register for this course. And with that, I have a few minutes for any questions that any of you may have about this course, any of you may have about Imperial College. Real quickly, as your questions come in, Russell, is there anything about Imperial College that you want to speak to specifically about why Imperial College or Imperial College's business school is the superior choice for our online students?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I can certainly comment on that. I think that it's a combination of various different factors that all come together to make your studying with Imperial very distinctive and unique. Clearly, we're a globally renowned university with some great faculty members. So Andreas Eigenrich and Gökhan obviously contributing to the program is a huge deal for us. So leaders in their field and expert faculty. But also it's the combination of the richness of your learning experience that really sets the Imperial program apart from others that you might be looking at the moment. So we're a technical, scientific, technology-based kind of university. We don't have a humanities department, for example. So if you're looking for a program that is perhaps one click deeper from the superficial layers of kind of content and that's more generic, then this is the program for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Russell. Gökhan, we had a question that I think I'm going to shoot to you.
Okay.
Liz wants to know, what level of analytic skills do you need to have in advance for this course to be successful? How much background do you need to have in analytics to for this course be successful?
So some basic algebra is really enough because all the tutorials, for example, with R, have my clear instructions step by step, and you will have the basic knowledge of how to use the software to be able to solve marketing problems, digital marketing problems. So you don't need to have a pre-knowledge of how to use R or how to make those calculations that I do in the tutorial sessions. So basically, following my step-by-step instructions in modules 2, 4, and 6, you will be able to perform the things that I do in those sessions very, very easily.
Thank you so much, Gökhan. Vincent has a question. I'm going to toss it over to you, Russell. Vincent wants to know more about the course assessment criteria and how the program is actually delivered online.
Okay, thanks, Mark. So in terms of assessment, you know, this is an executive education program, so there are no kind of heavy duty examinations or kind of tests that you need to go through to successfully get your certificate. That said, we do want to see a completion of exercises and assignments. So we'll be kind of looking at that as we go through the program. It's kind of assessed from the perspective of, you know, how far down the road you go in terms of completion, and the level of competency that you're able to demonstrate through those activities and assessments that are built into the program. What we find typically is that the overwhelming majority of participants, partly because of the way in which our faculty and the learning is designed, are very successful in completing the program. So I think, you know, the majority of participants find the balance between the workload that they're required to put in, which is typically 3 to 5 hours per week, is sufficient to kind of see them through all of those kind of, you know, light touch assessments and quizzes and exercises that are built into the program to ensure that they successfully complete the program and get their certificate. Does that help? I've forgotten the second part of the question, Mark.
Oh, it was just about, it was asking about the course assessment, but also how the program is delivered online. So the different dynamic learning that we have through this program.
Sure. Okay. So in terms of the learning itself, it's a combination of recorded video from both Gökhan and Andreas, as well as live sessions. So there are some live webinars where you'll have that opportunity to interact with faculty. There'll also be live sessions to support you through some of the activities that you'll go through during the program itself, plus some interactive exercises that enable you to kind of build those relationships with fellow participants on the course too. So it's a real blend of different types of activities to keep you engaged. And what we find, and the experience that we have in designing really engaging online learning, is that it's really important to have those different mixes of activities and delivery methodologies to really kind of ensure that learning gets applied and absorbed, but also to keep you guys engaged as you go through the program.
Thank you so much, Russell. Pierre has a question for you, Gökhan. Pierre works for the public sector, and their interest is in digital marketing and analytics. It's from a public servant point of view. And so Pierre wants to know, is the course fully focused on private business marketing and analytics, or could it be useful for someone who's working in the public sector?
Okay, so the analytics modules in the program actually use actual company data sets. So they're not coming from public institutions, but I can see no reason why those tools cannot be applied to, for example, government, governmental institutions or any nonprofit organizations. So you can easily apply those techniques to such organizations if you want. So depending on the problem type that you face, I think it's easy to adapt those frameworks, tools to your needs.
Thank you so much. So while we have more questions coming in, I was wondering if we could talk a little bit more, Russell, about some of the different learning experiences that people are going to have. Like there's a note here about interactive activities and polls. Can you speak a little bit more about that aspect of the program?
Sure. So many of the activities and exercises that are built into the program design are kind of unique to Imperial. So through our EdTech capabilities, we've done a lot of research over the years into what types of activities and interactivities really help online learners kind of not only learn the tools and the techniques and the skills that are being presented by faculty, but what's important when it comes to application too. So many of those activities that we include in the program design are focused on that. So, we use polls, we use geotagging techniques, so we understand, perspectives from all over the world and different cultures. It's a global cohort, so we're expecting people on the program from Asia as well as here in the UK and more broadly Europe. So there's an opportunity to really bring your own perspectives into the program and learn from each other as well, through that interactive component within the program. So we want you to learn, but we also want you to build a good, strong peer network with each other. So one of the powerful things around Imperial programs, whether they're online or face-to-face, is the strong peer networks that we deliberately try and build through the program. So you'll leave the program not only with a whole host of really great new skills that you can apply in a practical way, but you'll also leave the program having made some good friends and a network of people that you can pick up the phone to when you have kind of challenges in your own business or organization too.
Thank you so much, Russell. Gokhan, Claire has a question for you. Claire works in B2B IT business and marketing operations and hopes that you can share the relevance of the analytics and key takeaways.
So the relevance of analytics, is that right?
Yeah, they work in B2B IT business and marketing operations. And so they want to know a little bit about, I guess they just want some relevance of the analytics and key takeaways. Claire, I hope I got that right.
Yep. So, well, actually, we researchers or people who work in the marketing analytics field show that if analytics can be used appropriately, it can boost, the performance, not only the financial performance, but also non-financial performance of organizations or businesses up to 20%. So for instance, you can really improve your customers' attitudes towards your brand if you use analytics. So if you follow the analytical approaches, you can understand way better and you can serve them way better. So we also see that 40% of the decisions in B2B, in the B2B industry are based on intuitions, not facts, right? So how can we make sure that we can combine, intuitions with some analytical rigor and to make some sound decisions to manage our, organizations better. So at the end, if you're in B2B, your needs are going to be different, of course, but if you use analytics to guide your strategies, right, marketing strategies, you can really boost your performance by up to about 15 to 20%. I think that is awesome. So why not?
Thank you so much, Gokhan. Russell, we have a great question here about Imperial College specifically. And I know a few of the stats. I can brag about Imperial College a little bit, but I think you might be better at it than me. So we have a question saying that why can we say that the program provided by Imperial College is more advanced than other universities, including foreign universities? What sets Imperial apart and what makes it the best?
Yeah, okay. I think I can answer that question. I'm going to assume that the question is really focused around the program as well. Imperial has a dedicated focus around science, technology, engineering, medicine, and business. So the level of our expertise in specific areas that are kind of focused around the technical aspects of marketing is very deep. We come at this from a slightly different perspective from kind of many other universities around the world. So the learning that you get through attending an Imperial program typically has slightly more advanced focus in terms of the types of subjects that we cover and the depth that we go into. So we tend to focus on building really deep skills that also can be applied in a practical sense. But it's far more than a kind of a superficial overview of some of these kind of key topics, I guess. And that stems from our legacy of having this kind of focus around kind of technology, I guess, and in how that gets used in all manner of things in terms of business. But one of those main focus areas for us is marketing, and how does technology and data and kind of analytics really feed modern marketing. And because of our reputation, we tend to attract some of the world's leading thinkers in that space, including those that obviously like Gökhan delivering on this program too. Does that help?
Yes, it helps immensely, Russell. Thank you. Yes, and of course, I also have some stats here bragging about Imperial College that's consistently ranked among the top 10 universities in the world, and it often places first for innovation and entrepreneurship in Europe by Bloomberg and the Financial Times. But Gökhan, I actually want to shoot this question over to you as well.
Yep.
What about this program in particular? What makes this program more advanced or a better choice for our students than programs offered by other universities?
Yeah. So I think the way that we distinguish this program from the other programs offered by other universities is that we support the digital marketing journey of a customer by putting the analytics component, right? So we actually say, well, there's a digital customer journey, and how we can understand that journey better by using some analytical tools, right? So we support that learning by using some state-of-the-art analytical frameworks. So you will have those skills, not only soft digital marketing skills, but you will have the opportunity to, apply different analytical tools and approaches that can help you make, robust and rigorous decisions when it comes to understand digital customer journey. I think the analytics part of this program is kind of unique, and it's really different from what the other digital marketing programs offer across the world.
Mm. Can I just add something, Gökhan, as well, just to mention that the Imperial is one of the most international universities in the world. So our executive education participants and our student body at large is very multicultural and truly international. And our faculty's kind of research activities and their own personal experiences of the real world reflect that too. So this is a program that looks at analytics, but looks at it with a deep understanding of kind of what the world looks like from a global perspective too.
Yeah.
So
also, I can add to that, Russell. So all the case studies that you will be doing during the program actually come from our personal projects, either consulting projects or research projects. And those projects use real-world data sets and real-world problems that the companies or the organizations face, right? So I think having that view, a real-world view with analytics and right tools, approaches are great. So I think that view is certainly something that distinguishes this program from other programs.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, both so much. We actually we have answered all the questions in our Q&A as of this moment. So I think the only thing left to do is to encourage all our future students on the line right now watching this webinar. Please go ahead and register for this course. Remember, it starts in less than 3 weeks, and we all lead busy lives. So make sure that you register for this course right away and get in touch with your course advisors at program advisors at Emeritus, and so we can get you all signed up for this course right away. I want to thank Russell Miller from Imperial College Business School Executive Education. Russell, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Mark.
And Dr. Gökhan Yıldırım, I want to thank you so much for your time as well and for taking us through this course and for your expertise and your knowledge and your wisdom.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And thank you all so much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you in the classroom. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.